because we could spread out just a little bit more and be in front.
How's that?
That works out good.
You know what the funniest thing was about those troll videos?
What's that?
The fact that you left in like the first 30 seconds where you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Wondering about the light and everything.
There was something. I don't remember what it was. It was like something.
The dark. You thought it was too dark, and that's because you were doing your system restore, and usually your screen is really bright. Instead, it was like that blue color.
Right. Yeah. I thought it was funny. I thought there was like.
It was fine.
And there was a bit. So. I was cheeky. I thought it was cheeky and fun. And let America know who we are. There we go. Better. Much better. Hi everybody and welcome to or back to the Whitey the White Guy Show. I'm Whitey, this is Cracker, and today we're going to talk, we did a prelude to review of the film Gleaming the Cube, starring Christian Slater and no one else.
There was a couple people that were from Big Trouble in Little China in it, and there was one guy from Scarface and Tony Hawk.
Yeah, Tony Hawk was in it. If you ever saw Tour of Duty back in the day, all the Asian people from that show were in this one. So, yeah, let's get to it. Cracker, what did you think of Gleaming the Cube?
Expected worse. For a movie where Christian Slater is a skateboarder trying to solve his brother's murder, I expected a lot worse.
So, we didn't do the synopsis?
Yeah, we did.
In the last one.
This is your fucking show. You don't
well, it was like a month ago now. But it's really not more than that. His brother gets killed on accident. Mm. He has to find out why. A cop named Lugero helps him out. And it's basically, here's this plot just to get us to some skateboarding opportunities. But for the 80s, for Christian Slater, it was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it came out like 89 or something like that.
Yeah,
At first I thought I was in for some real shit. because when it starts out, you have this really shitty, stereotypical 80s rock pop song called Gleaming the Cube, as you see the fucking skateboard everywhere.
I know, it was Gleaming the Cube, and it's like, do you have to really?
It was exactly like that too.
Just like that.
And it was stupid because they charter a plane to go find the perfect swimming pool to skateboard in.
Yeah. And I'm not sure, it's like, okay, you gotta put yourself in the 80s. You couldn't just go on Google Maps.
Well, first off,
would you do that?
First off, I want to know where they get the money to charter a plane. Yeah. Because, A, you never see Christian Slater with a job, nor his other friends. The only person that has a job is Tony Hawk, and he works at fucking Pizza Hut.
Is a delivery driver. So, I mean, you see their house kind of like him and Christian Slater and Yabo. You see their houses. Mm-hmm. They're not poor, but they're not
Yabo
rich.
lives in like the bomb shelter.
Yeah, which I thought was a cool.
That was actually neat. That was neat. But Yabo is like, I guess, probably his best friend out of his group of friends. Mm-hmm.
And that guy's actually gone on to do some stuff.
I wondered where the hell I recognized him from. He was in Cliffhanger with Stallone. He was one of the kids that was a snowboarder. Yeah. So I don't know if he's like a professional extreme sports person or what, but I really enjoyed the brief relationship you see between Christian Slater and his adopted brother. Yeah. Because they had a good chemistry. I wish you saw more of it. I mean, his brother was killed like within first 15 minutes, if that.
Yeah, we made like 20, but it happened pretty right away.
And I really enjoyed for what he did, for 20 minutes or whatever. I liked the Asian actor who played his brother. Mm-hmm. I thought he did a really decent job. Let's see here. What else was good?
How about the skateboarding?
The skateboarding was actually really well done.
Yes.
And you have fucking Tony Hawk, so you know he's doing it. And then there's a lot of stunts, like, at the end of the movie where they're trying to catch the villains, and, Christian Slater is going from, car to vehicle, to try to catch them, which was really well done. Mm-hmm. Let's see. I thought there was only one time when I noticed that it was like a professional skateboarder wearing a wig, and it wasn't Slater, so the editing was really well done. They did a good job of hiding his face. That's about it. There really wasn't much to this movie. Mm-hmm.
No,
at all.
It was, but I mean, it was all the right balance because it was.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was when they did a good job of choosing. The skating was going to be the thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be skating. So how many movies have we seen where it's like they do too much and for no reason at all?
Yeah, it wasn't 100% skateboarding, which was good.
Exactly, but here when he did go and do something skateboarding, like he went to go blow off some steam when his brother died and all that stuff.
I couldn't, that scene there where he goes to like the abandoned pool to like after his brother dies and he fucking skateboards. I just pictured Kevin Bacon in Footloose when he's all pissed off and he's dancing in the barn. I said that's the same fucking thing.
The same thing. But I think they balanced everything well, where it wasn't trying to be too serious, nor was it too silly and dumb.
Of course, the part where I don't know if the young Asian girl, I don't know if she was his brother's girlfriend or just a friend. Because eventually they seemed like she's going to be a love interest of Christian Slater. Mm-hmm. That wasn't really explained. It doesn't matter. But the scene where she is kidnapped by the villains, and she's thrown in the back of a car and they're driving away, and then Christian and his buddies are on the opposite end of town and they're going to go find them, and they're playing a game of chicken. But the thing is, you got this. They're not really gangsters, but you got the villains in one car going up a hill, and they're playing chicken with a Pizza Hut delivery truck. And I know they're trying to be serious at this point, but I couldn't help but fucking laugh when he's playing chicken with a Pizza Hut truck, and he lost. Yes. He's the one that swears.
Well, yeah. So the villain, the main villain guy, ends up kidnapping him and another Asian dude are in cahoots. Mm-hmm. And the Asian dude has a daughter. He ends up shooting the second villain guy, taking the daughter captive, because that's right when Detective Lugero shows up. And the funny thing is, there's another guy who just happens to be there, and he's like, get in the car and drive. Mm-hmm. So now this poor Asian dude has to drive, and he's sitting there trying to figure out how to things. It's like, oh, Asian stereotype. Oh, racism. Where have you been? And
I just like the blatant product placement of Pizza Hut, though.
So, but he's not. The bad guy's not driving. The Asian dude is. So he's gonna be like, "Oh, here, do this," and so he's like panicky.
But still, it's plain chicken with a Pizza Hut truck.
It was perfect, and Christian Slater did a good job.
Christian Slater was very good. This was like right after Heathers, I think. If you've ever seen Heathers, he was very good. That's one of his earliest roles. Very good in that. He wasn't channeling Jack Nicholson yet. Right. He gets like the over exaggerated Jack Nicholson movements and voice. He was doing really well. Very likable character. His buddies were all likable, and they weren't thrown in your face because a lot of them there just for like comic relief. They're spliced in a little bit.
They did a good job with that because, with the exception of the Yabo guy, I think they're all just skateboarders. Yeah. They're all just local skateboarders that talent scouts went out and found, professional skateboarders who were teenagers. So you couldn't give them a whole page of dialogue and fuck it up. So they all had one or two sentences.
Yabo had the most dialogue, of course, because he's an actor, and then Tony Hawk did okay for when he's not on a skateboard.
Yeah, the very little dialogue they gave him, but I mean...
The one part that I thought, oh, this part really had me going on. And not in a good way, because I thought this was the worst part of the movie. It was, he's trying to get information and get close to the young Asian girl, but she wants nothing to do with him because he's a dirty skater. Yeah. So he goes through, you have this montage of him ripping down all of his skating posters and throwing away all of his skater clothes. And of course he's got one nice shirt. Yeah. He's got one nice pair of slacks. And then he washes all the dye out of his hair and the gel, and then he shows up in front of his mom and he looks like a prep. And then of course he's walking through school and all the kids stop and look at him because, oh my god, the skater's, now a preppy boy, and his friends are thinking he's like mentally retarded because he's going through an emotional breakdown, and that was tough.
That was, I liked every minute of this movie. There's really nothing I didn't.
I'm not trashing it. Again. But because I expected a lot worse. Yes. I did have fun for the most part. I'm just like, that was a little too much 80s cheese for me.
But it was the 80s, so it was just cheese at the time. And now but the other thing too, it's like this. The other thing to mention is this launched a lot of skaters. Mm-hmm. A lot of skaters saw this at 10 and 12 years old, and
I said
became skaters.
I said in our prelude to this when you were discussing this, I didn't know about this movie I'd never seen it at the time, but I remember when it came out, I have a cousin who's like a year or two older than me, and he was into skateboarding, and of course this was his favorite movie because he was into skateboarding.
Yep. So yeah, I think I loved it. I thought it was for, again, being 80s kids.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, oh, this is great. I remember.
I probably would have enjoyed it more if I was like 12.
Yeah. Well,
not saying it's a kid's
movie.
movie. It's not a kid's movie at all. But I would have enjoyed it more if I was younger.
I'd say it's aimed at teenage boys, for sure. And again, I saw it when I was a kid. I didn't remember a heck of a lot about it. But going back and watching it, I was like, oh, I remember that. And then he hits the guy with the skateboard in the face. There you go. So.
Oh, and I didn't like the police detective. I thought he was too. Yeah, I couldn't stand that actor. I just thought he was too much of an asshole. But you could tell the actor was trying to be an asshole, and I think he was taking it too far, like with his line deliveries and stuff.
Yeah, there was. They did do a thing where there's like a line where he clearly says, he's talking to him at the guy's apartment. He clearly says, "I used to be a skateboarder," but then they overdub it with "I used to be a screw up" instead because it was like too specific. Yeah. So he had I think he did a fine job, but he had to be both an authoritative figure. But he used to be a skateboarder, so he relates. But overall, thoughts?
Overall, it was worth a watch. No gun in my mouth when this was over, so
I failed.
It's worth at least.
I failed at punishing you. Damn.
You did, but you knew I wouldn't shit on this movie so much.
No, I thought you'd like
That'll
it.
be for the next one.
Yes.
The Cutting Edge.
Okay, so the next movie we're reviewing is Cutting Edge.
Yeah. But overall, Gleaming the Cube, worth a watch. It's one of those movies that, you know what, if you're vacuuming or like doing something and it's on TV in the background, sit down and watch it. You won't hate it.
Pop it in. It's fun. It's a fun movie. Yeah. So that's it for Gleaming the Cube. Whitey the White Guy. Good dildo. Do it. Oh, come on.
All right.
Good dildo.
You're a fucking retard. You know that?